Welcome back to The Narrative. I'm your storyteller, Callistra Faria. Joining me now on the program is Superintendent Junior Simmons. He is the Public Relations Chief at the Royal St. Vincent Police Force. Now, as we know, the St. Vincent investigators have been looking into the disappearance of an American couple, Ralph Hendry and Kathy Brandel. They were abducted in Grenada in St. George's when 3 escaped fugitives made their way to a bay in Grenada, hijacked the yacht and kidnapped the couple and made their way up the island chain, landing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where they were captured quite quickly by St. Vincent Police. Investigations have been ongoing. A Grenada team of investigators joined their St. Vincent counterparts. They have returned to Grenada by now to investigate the matter. They have returned with evidence that they've handed over to the Grenada Director of Public Prosecutions. What we know is that the men are in custody. They have been remanded at the prison in St. Vincent, and they have been charged with a slew of immigration violations. The only charges that at this point can be laid with the ongoing investigation of what has happened to Kathy and Ralph. Joining me now, as I said before, is the Superintendent Junior Simmons to give us an update on what's happening on the ground with this matter in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Welcome to the program, Superintendent.
Well, good morning, Callistra. And can I call you that?
Yes, you can call me Callistra. No
All right,
problem.
very well. And yes, and good morning to all of your viewers. A pleasant good day to Grenadians as well. It's a pleasure to be on your program this morning.
And we're happy
Thank
to
you.
have, I'm happy to have you, though I would have preferred better circumstances, but when you're speaking to police officers, you are seldom speaking under good circumstances because law enforcement is what you do. Now, the situation with the American couple, Ralph Hendry and Kathy Brandel, your police force in charge of that investigation at the moment. What can you tell us now about where you are in looking into this matter?
Okay, so thank you very much. And please permit me to go back a bit. Well, based on the current issue at hand, the members of the Royal Civil Grenadian Police Force first received information that there were 3 Grenadian prisoners who had escaped custody in Grenada, and they were at a certain location in Petit Bordel on the northwestern coast of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And on the Wednesday, the 21st of February 2024, we conducted an operation in that area, and the 3 escapees suspects, they were apprehended and taken into custody. Thereafter, several things happened. Our police officers, along with their counterparts from Grenada, started intense investigations into at the time, the missing of 2 American citizens, Mr. Ralph Hendry and Kathy Brandel. And so far, the investigations have been very, very productive and going good. We have interviewed the suspects, processed the yacht in which the escapees arrived in St. Vincent and Grenadines, and we have collected very important evidence so far. Currently, the suspects, they have been remanded at His Majesty's prisons, and they appeared in court just earlier on in the week on immigration-related charges, and they pled guilty to all of those charges. They all received 4 charges individually. They pled guilty, and they are now awaiting their sentence, which will be handed down next Monday on March the 4th, 2024.
And those fugitives, Superintendent Simmons, Ron Mitchell, Trevor Robertson, and Atiba Stanislaus, they actually come from one area in Grenada, an area in the eastern parish of St. Andrew in a place called Paradise. And I understand that they have been cooperating with the police. Have they spoken to, have they given information that pointed to what has happened? Because the couple, the American couple, they are still missing. But based on your investigation, do you now have a fair idea, credible information as to what has happened to them?
Yes, and you would understand that I cannot go into all of the details. But so far, the escapees, they have been cooperating with the police. And based on, well, they were interviewed by both police forces, Royal Grenadian Police Force, and officers from our police force in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And they would have volunteered certain information that is very critical and vital to the investigation. And what we have deduced from that information thus far is that the Mr. Brandel and Mr. Brandel and Mr. Hendry, they are presumed dead at this current time.
And the information that you have, you know, it's really sad what has happened to this couple, but you have a lot of legal matters that are being discussed and sorted out now. On the issue of jurisdiction, because there was some question as to exactly where we know the alleged crime started in St. George's with the abduction, the kidnapping of this couple. But what happened next, that was unclear. The information that you were able to get from the suspects during the investigation, does it clear up? You may not be able to tell me what the conclusion is on jurisdiction, but has it now cleared up the issue of jurisdiction, or is there still more investigating to be done to determine whose headache this is? Is it Grenada or St. Vincent and the Grenadines?
Right, so at this time, you're correct. There's a discussion on jurisdiction when it comes to this investigation. What I can tell you is that the Attorney General in St. Vincent and Grenadines and his counterpart in Grenada, also the Director of Public Prosecutions in St. Vincent and Grenadines and her counterpart in Grenada, they are having discussions on the matter of jurisdiction. So I don't want to say definitively who have the jurisdiction at this time. Certainly at a later date, I believe both authorities, the legal authorities in both countries, they would make a statement where that is concerned. But from policing standpoint, I don't want to make a definitive statement on it at this time.
But
Because of the ongoing conversations.
all right, but without saying whose jurisdiction it is, has the investigation provided clarity, whatever that may turn out to be when it's announced? Has the investigation provided clarity on this yet, or is it still ambiguous in terms of jurisdiction?
All right. So from information deduced from the suspects or the escapees, I can say that it has produced some clarity so far, right? But the final decision, I think, would be made by both countries' legal authorities. But so far, I can confirm that the information that we have received from the suspects, it has given us a clearer picture as to where exactly the alleged crime would have been committed.
All right, and but I know the Director of Public Prosecution here in Grenada, Mr. Christopher Nelson, he said that he has received the evidence that has been collected in St. Vincent, and that was brought home by the 5 investigators who were working along with your men, and he's going through that at the moment. This is what St. George's is saying, that he's now going through that so that he can make a determination, and I suppose the conversations are happening with your DPP and Attorney General and ours to determine what happens
Correct.
next. But in the meantime, the 3 suspects, the fugitives, Ron Mitchell, Trevor Robertson, and Atiba Stanislaus, they will appear in court on Monday so that the magistrate can make a ruling on the immigration violation, which they've already pleaded guilty to. Let me ask you, they are without counsel. They are without counsel. They are not represented by a lawyer in this matter. Do you know?
At this time, I can't confirm if they are represented by counsel, but I can follow up and get back to you.
All right. So what are the penalties for the charges that they have that they've pleaded guilty to? What's the likely outcome in the matter? What are the options for the magistrate?
Well, usually and historically, these charges, these immigration-related charges, which range from entering the state of St. Vincent and the Grenadines illegally, entering without, clearing with immigration authorities, and also entering without a passport and so forth. Historically, when foreign nationals are charged for these offences and they're taken before the court and they plead guilty, the magistrate in most cases would rule that they should be deported back to their country. I'm not saying at this time that that would be the magistrate ruling because I cannot presume that. However, historically, that has been the ruling for most of the time.
If I ask you, Superintendent Simmons, whether or not the St. Vincent and the Royal Police Force will be bringing any further charges against the suspects, that might be a roundabout way of asking you about jurisdiction, and you wouldn't answer, would you?
Well, I cannot comment at this time. Yes, but what I can say, the investigation is at a very delicate stage, and I really want to commend our Grenadian counterparts for the role that they have been playing so far in the investigation. See, Callister, criminals all over the world, they collaborate, and when they're committing their crimes, and law enforcement also needs to collaborate as well and try to be ahead of the game of the criminals. So we commend our Grenadian counterparts for the awesome job that they've done so far in this investigation, and we are hoping that at the end of the day, whichever country has the jurisdiction, that justice will be served.
And the relatives, certainly we do hope so, the relatives of Ralph Hendry and Kathy Brandel, I know that they are in St. Vincent. They've retained counsel. Kay Bacchus is looking after their legal rights at the moment in St. Vincent. Have you had an opportunity, or any senior members of your force been able to speak to them? I know that they dealt with investigators in terms of identifying items that were found on the fugitive suspects, but and they've identified those items. But any other interaction has taken place?
Yes. The Acting Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of crimes, Mr. Trevor Bailey, he met with the family of Hendry and Brandel, and also their legal representative. And they were given a brief on the investigation and the stage at which it is right now. They were very happy and pleased with the brief that they received, and they have been very helpful as well in the investigation thus far. And we really want to say how appreciative we are that they could have come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to help to assist us in the investigation. And again, on behalf of the entire nation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we wish to convey our sympathies to the family. We know that right now they're hurting. They are going through a very difficult period, and we do hope that they can find solace, and at the end of the day, they will receive justice as well.
Yeah, I'm sure they would appreciate your words, Superintendent. Are you still in search mode, trying to recover Ralph and Kathy? What's happening there now in terms of this? I suppose it's no longer a rescue but a recovery mission. And is it still happening?
Yes, I can say from our end, our Coast Guard, is still out there conducting searches, you know, within our borders, because we know that incidents like these is very important that we can retrieve some sort of evidence. I
Remains.
mean, from the sea, the remains or the bodies, and until such time, we will continue with those searches, so that we can bring some closure to the situation at hand.
And the RSS, to what extent are they involved in helping with the search and helping with the investigation? Do you have air assets deployed, searching from air as well as sea? Is RSS involved, the regional security system?
Yes, I cannot say at this current time if the RSS is conducting aerial surveillance, but I know that they conducted several aerial surveillance, you know, in the airspace of both countries, to try and get a sighting of possible remains. But so far, those searches, have been unsuccessful.
Based on the evidence gathered, particularly the statements from those three suspects, is it possible at all that Ralph or Kathy, if they were excellent swimmers, could have swam to an uninhabited island? Is that a possibility at all? Or based on what you know, it would have been impossible for them to swim to get anywhere?
Okay. Well, based on what we know so far from the suspects, it would have been very difficult for the victims to have swum to shore to any nearby island, based on what was told to the police.
All right. Are the relatives very angry with the Royal Grenada Police Force? This all ended the way it did because three men were able to walk out of a police station undetected. Did you sense at all what their reaction or what their feelings, their attitude is towards Grenada and the Royal Grenada Police Force?
I cannot comment on that because I didn't get to meet with the Brandel and Henry family, so I do not know what is their state of mind towards the Grenadian police force.
All right. Well, Superintendent Simmons, we are out of time. I would like to thank you so much for joining me on The Narrative. On behalf of the people of Grenada, thank you so much to you and your men for your speedy apprehension of the fugitives and everything that you have done so far and the joint investigation that you facilitated with our counterparts from Grenada. And good luck with the rest of the investigation. Thank you so very much, sir.
And thank you very much, Kadisha. And before I close, I just want to say, quote a very popular quote in law enforcement. The wheels of justice turns very slowly but surely. So we are hopeful that justice will be served in the end.
Thank you so much. This is The Narrative. I'm your storyteller, Callistra Fario. Speaking there with Superintendent Junior Simmons. He's in charge of public relations for the Royal St. Vincent Police Force. They have been involved in a joint investigation with investigators from Grenada, looking into the disappearance. Now they are presumed dead, Ralph Hendry and Kathy Brandell. They were abducted at a bay in Grenada and sailed to St. Vincent. Their catamaran was commandeered by these fugitives, and they are still missing, now presumed dead, based on information that these suspects have given to police in St. Vincent during the investigation. More when we come back.